I'm not talking about some shitty, gimmicky detox. I'm talking about real removal of impediments so the body can heal itself. Your body starts to let go of those old emotions. And, as long as you know it's happening, it can be a very magical process. But there are some ups and downs to it. You can feel old irritation, old overwhelm, old fear, and yes, old anger, because that's what the liver's holding for you.
This is Doctor Talks.
Welcome back to the conversation. Today we have one of my most favorite people on the planet, Sinclair Kennally. Thank you for being here.
I'm so glad to have you here, honey. It's wonderful to do this talk with you. Thanks for being such an advocate for everybody this way.
Thank you so much. And no summit would be complete without you talking about the liver. You are affectionately known as the liver lady. And I love this about you. You call yourself the chief talking officer of Detox Rejuvenation. That's because you partner with Michael and he is not the talking officer. He's the scientist.
Yeah, he's our chief research officer. And then I'm the one that says, oh my God, we have to tell everybody about this.
Yes, and you do such a good job at it. So you're also an award-winning expert on chronic digestive illnesses, host of your Health Reset podcast, and you're a survivor of complex chronic illness. You have virtual programs that people can join. You also see clients in person. And today we are going to do a deep dive into gallbladder and liver. And listen up, even if your gallbladder has been removed, this interview is for you.
Ooh, thank you for saying that. I know people are already on the other side of that.
I don't want people to tune out and think, well, I don't have a gallbladder. I don't need to listen to this. It's probably even more important for you to listen to this. So let's start out by unpacking why the heck would I bring a liver specialist onto a mitochondria summit when we're talking about energy? So tell us what the connection is there.
This is so important because fatigue is actually one of the first signs that your liver is not functioning properly. And in fact, it can take years for that fatigue to finally progress enough to show on normal liver ranges or normal liver markers that we measure on traditional labs to actually show, hey, not only is your liver struggling, but it may have been struggling for quite some time. And it's not rocket science why this would be. We're living in a day and age that's very unusual. We're putting a lot of pressure on our gorgeous livers, which is, the biggest traditional organ that we have. It's a big boy. It's got 13% of our blood running through it at any given time, and it's doing over 500 functions for us. So it's not surprising that when we add in just a little bit of toxic exposure in our tap water, in our food, whether it's even healthy produce in the soil or our processed foods or, our air pollution, you don't have to have crazy weird exposures to have an overloaded liver today. So fatigue is that early sign that, hey, your liver is working so hard for you and it may need some direct support.
And oftentimes, if we get the liver supported, this can give you some massive relief because now you've got energy to actually do the other protocols and the rest of the work that got you in trouble in the first place, right? That overwhelmed the liver. But if you get some of that pressure off the liver and solve that, this could be a great entrance point into your health journey, right?
Absolutely can, because I always say that our liver protocols that we teach are actually the best anti-aging protocols because your liver is in so many ways responsible for regulating how fast you replenish and you regenerate. And so if your liver's overloaded, you're actually aging in fast forward. And you can have body-wide inflammation, you can have body-wide fatigue, and also you're not keeping up. And so we have all these people looking in the mirror going, wait a minute, why do I look like this? I don't look like how I think I should for this age. I don't feel like how I think I should feel. And it's so much more than life stress, And because the liver actually helps play a major role in our metabolism, it's not just, the gut tube that we all love to talk about in functional medicine, right? The liver's also doing a lot of that metabolizing of not just, carbohydrates and sugars, but also fats and proteins. Like this is a really big deal. So even your ability to absorb your own nutrients and convert them into energy is very much regulated by the liver itself.
Right. And I want to talk about the gallbladder here, but let's talk about Sam for a moment. So Sam is my husband and
one of my favorite humans.
Yes. So if you don't know this, Sinclair and Michael are truly experts in the space of detoxification. And Sinclair and Michael are they truly changed the way that I approach healing protocols and functional medicine. And I've mentored with them. You are some of my mentors in this journey of figuring out how to best help and serve people. And once I started implementing the things that you taught me into my programs, people's results just skyrocketed. They got so much better. So of course, I can't treat my own husband because you can't share a bed and be somebody's practitioner. It just doesn't work. It's not sexy. It doesn't work.
It's so
Sam
true.
and I have been together around 25 years, and he is the most extraordinary human, but he does not take healing direction from me very well.
Mhm.
So I brought him to you and Michael and said, help him please with his gallbladder. So he he has, gallstones and inflammation there, and his doctor wants to do surgery. Like they are trigger happy. Every time he goes in, they say, "Well, you should take this out." So let's talk about this. Tell our audience about Sam and what you did to support him, and let's talk about why the gallbladder is not optional. That you must keep this organ at all costs. And don't worry, if you already had it removed and you're watching this, we're going to talk about what to do if it's already been removed. But if you have not had your gallbladder removed, we want to protect this organ. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, this is with Sam's permission because, well, we won't reveal anything that he doesn't want us to talk about.
Talk about Sam all the time. Poor guy. By default, he's just, part of the conversation.
I know. And he told me, he's like, well, and you should tell people, tell them when I went there.
Yeah, he tells everybody, you should do this.
That's amazing. Good. So here's the thing about the gallbladder. It's quite the unsung hero of our digestive system. And I'll explain what I mean by that because and this is I want everybody to hear this, whether or not you still have a gallbladder that still matters to you. So everybody take a breath if you're already missing your gallbladder. It's not surprising. 750,000 of them are removed every year in the US alone. I don't think it's an accident considering how little we understand about our bodies in this culture still and how profitable that surgery is. Just have to say
Mm.
that piece.
Follow the money trail. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So the gallbladder is that cute little pear-shaped organ that's underneath the liver. So the liver's in the upper right quadrant, right, of your abdomen. So it's down here right under the right breast for women, and it actually starts in the center of the abdomen and wraps around, right? And the gallbladder is right behind it and tucked up underneath it. So it's adorable and it should be about oh yay big. And you could think about it like a catcher's mitt or a purse for the bile that the liver makes. It's holding it, it's storing it, and then it's releasing it at the exact right moment to meet the stomach acid and food coming down from the stomach into the small intestine. It's not just the pancreas offloading some great pancreatic enzymes and some sodium bicarbonate to nullify the stomach acid and prepare the food for further breaking down and absorption in the small intestine. Actually, the bile from the gallbladder is performing just as much, if not more, of that alkalizing effect. So that means that the gallbladder has a really important job. It has to catch and hold on to the bile made by the liver, right? And it has to condense it and adjust the pH to be just perfect to catch and neutralize the stomach acid. So your stomach and your gallbladder are always talking to each other. So if your bile becomes sluggish because of the hairspray you used and the dryer sheets you inhaled and the mold you grew up in and the tap water you drank and your liver's just like, dude, I'm getting overloaded here. My 2,000 miles of bile ducts that are so intricate and delicate coming down the biliary tree here, the bile in there is getting kind of sluggish. It's getting a little sticky. It's starting to move a little bit slow. And I'm starting to have some problems here. It's harder to get fresh bile into the gallbladder then, and then the gallbladder's bile gets stickier and stickier, and the gallbladder can't do what it's supposed to do, which is regulate the bile and let it go right at the right perfect moment, right? And the way we eat matters too. So we used to eat bitter foods. We used to cook our food, and so our digestive system would get all these signals from our smell, from our brain, as we're watching things, as we're making them, we're feeling the food with our hands. Our digestive system used to have like a real heads up, like, okay, we need to get our gastric juices moving. We're gonna get ready. We're gonna flow some bile soon. Get ready, guys. We don't have that anymore. We go through like a drive-by or we pick up food or we heat it up, within a couple of minutes in the microwave and it's wham bam. And the stomach is and the gallbladder are like, whoa, okay, I guess I got to deal with this now. And there's no early signaling. So that's why reintroducing bitter foods and even bitters as a tincture is such an important ritual to reclaim. Every culture did this. Every culture had bitters and had a slow way of eating until we lost that not that long ago, right?
Mm.
So this is important to understand because, yeah, you can do bitters, right? And give your body like a little bit of a 20-minute heads up before you start to eat. And that will let the stomach know, okay, I got to get my gastric juices flowing. The bile is like, oh, okay, I got to get ready to move in the gallbladder. The problem is you've had sluggish toxicity building up for quite some time,
Yeah.
right? So what does that do? That starts to congeal. It starts to slow down. And yes, you can make stones. And most people who don't have their gallbladders anymore had an attack in their gallbladder. It was very scary. They ate a fatty meal. Maybe it was heavy cheese, heavy fats, heavy meat cuts with lots of fat in it. And the gallbladder started to ping. It's a very specific sensation because the gallbladder is quite small. So your liver might be sore and it's quite big. And be like, oh, it's just sore up here, kind of aches, it hurts. But a gallbladder attack is a very specific pinging that feels very scary. It feels very sharp and acute. And that,
Say it's the worst pain of their life, like worse than
yeah.
childbirth, worse than anything else they've ever experienced.
Yeah, exactly. And because it's, right in the abdomen there, it feels very, very personal, right up in the middle of all your other vital organs. And so your alarm bells are going off crazy, man. It's
Mhm.
very scary. So that's how you end up in the ER. And that's how you get a scan done, an x-ray or an ultrasound that shows you, oh, look, your gallbladder is enlarged. And yes, we can see a couple of stones in there. And what
Mhm.
they're actually telling you is there's a couple of stones that have enough mineral density that they show up on the imaging. It doesn't mean those are the only stones you have.
I know, it's so funny, like, I have a kidney stone, or excuse me, a gallbladder stone. I have a gallstone. A
That's what
gallstone.
Yeah,
It's
we get so many students and clients coming to us, in our courses and in our practice now. It's like, "I just have a gallstone." "Oh, yeah, I have 3 whole gallstones." "Oh, sweetheart, if you have 3 whole gallstones and that's what's showing up on the imaging, I guarantee you have thousands more that are cholesterol-based. They're not dense enough to be picked up."
yeah. Yeah. So let's bring it back to Sam's. When you first experienced Sam, did you notice right away? Because you knew right away what he needed.
I mean, he's a tough guy, so he was trying to put up a brave front,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's extremely intelligent and also very, like, "Leave me alone."
Mhm. Right. So the
I will
sym
handle myself, but he was clearly in a lot of pain.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
had some abdomen distension, which is quite common when you have a sluggish liver. He was clearly like a force of nature as a man and yet really battling fatigue. He was not up to his level of life force and energy. And everybody's different, right? Everybody has a different size tank. Sam has a huge tank in terms of energy, but he was
Yeah.
clearly depleted, right? And that distension right here, that fatigue, the achiness in his joints, the dark circles under his eyes, right? The forcing through things, a little
Mhm.
quick to irritate, a little spicy,
Mhm. Yeah, well, I can speak into that. Like, he's gotten a little spicy and quick to irritate over the years. He does have immense patience. You must, being, my partner in life, because I'm intense. So he's got to be like the mellow side. He's got to
Yeah,
be the mellow one.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, he was getting like cranky and irritable and anger,
yeah,
like angered quick. Yeah,
yeah,
all part of it.
yeah. And the sensitivity to foods, he couldn't eat a lot of foods that he used to enjoy. Eating around your reactions in your gallbladder and your liver is very common. You start to say to yourself, like, oh, I just prefer to eat light. Well,
Hmm.
do you? Because your body actually craves deep healing fats. It must have them in order to make healthy cell walls.
Hmm.
And you must be able to absorb your fat soluble vitamins, A, D, E, K, and the minerals, in your body, like the calcium. This all is required to to have like really, really good flowing bile. So you start feeling depletion, you start noticing signs of calcium and mineral depletion and signs of fat soluble vitamin depletion when you don't tolerate fats well because your bile can't help absorb them.
Yeah, and what we're talking about right now, and we're kind of using Sam as a case study, but we're talking about what happens when you're overloaded. So on that note of not being able to eat a lot. Okay, so Sam is a landscape contractor. He does heavy manual labor for a
Yeah.
living, and he would need a high caloric intake every day to sustain. And the amount of, I mean, Sam's the kind of guy who looks like he works out in the gym with muscles, and
He's
he's never lifted a weight in the entire time I've ever known him. He has not spent
yeah.
a day in the gym since
He
I've met him because he does hard labor every day. And I mean, he gets in there with his guys right next to him and does the work. So he was saying, I eat light. Like people always think, "God, Sam, it's like a bird,
mm,
right?" So that's exactly what you're talking about right now. He's not,
yeah.
you would expect him to just put down food.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, you would expect a guy like that to eat 4 or 5 meals a day,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
especially in his prime, right? And so the more overloaded your liver is, the more overloaded your gallbladder is, the more your metabolism slows down.
Okay. So what else? So metabolism slows down. You've got this irritability. You've got this kind of irritation on the, you might find yourself kind of like rubbing the right side. Like
Yeah.
could have this we call colicky gallbladder pain. What else?
You can also one of the earliest signs, and it certainly was for me, was not just the fatigue and the brain fog, which is very real, and the quick to react, because I used to be that way as well, but also just this feeling of indigestion, like your food just does not settle and break down. You're just like, that's just sitting there. And
Yeah.
it's part of why you want to start eating light because you can tell your bile isn't flowing, it's not breaking down the fats, and it's not supporting gut motility. You must have bile flow to support gut motility. So we're throwing all these probiotics at this problem. It's like, hello, look upstream, please. So that's another piece. Constipation or diarrhea, or just for fun, alternating constipation and diarrhea. Great.
Just for fun.
Yeah, just for fun. And
Right.
for women, the PMS, the menstrual issues are very real. And the pressure that gets put on the reproductive system when your liver and your gallbladder are not functioning correctly can really start to show up in some very uncomfortable signs. Heavy periods, lots of PMS, all of that achiness, huge temperament flares, crazy fatigue, migraines that you're blaming on hormones are actually driven by the liver and gallbladder congestion. And they magically go away as you resolve the liver and gallbladder issues.
I think
Even things
light
like
bulbs
endometriosis, all of those, I'm not kidding, serious reproductive issues can be driven by liver and gallbladder.
light bulbs are going off for people right now, big time. And I know so right now we're talking about saving your gallbladder. We are going to address those of you that have lost your gallbladder already. Don't worry, we're going to talk about
Yeah, we
that.
got you. Don't worry.
But what I want to ask now and have you unpack, and I know we're using Sam as a case study as we go because it's something that I can really identify with, and he's okay. He's okay with us sharing that. um, anything for you and me. So tell us what you did for Sam. What was the course of action that you saw was absolutely imperative for him to be able to save his gallbladder?
Well, we had to start by supporting his drainage pathways. And for somebody who is like such a force of nature, it's very important to protect your energy so that he felt he could do his work and run his household, right? At the same time, like he was not willing to compromise. He's a high performer. And so he had to know that his energy would be protected while we did this deep work. And by the way, that's true of everybody working on their liver and gallbladder, whether you're super fragile and you're totally bedridden and you're watching this and you're a summit junkie because you're here to save your own life, it's still true for you. You must protect your energy while you are detoxing your liver and your gallbladder because you've got to have enough mitochondrial support, which is why I'm so excited about this summit and your advocacy in this space. In order to do the deeper work, everybody skips this step. They're just like, oh, you know what? I'm finally getting hip to my problems. I know what I'll do. I'll add to my body's to do list right now. Wait, why am I herxing? Why am I crashing? Why don't I feel good? Why don't I love this? Because you didn't support the body with enough energy production during the process, right?
Mhm.
So that's a big piece of it. So we had to protect his energy during it, and we had to go at the pace that he was ready to go.
Right, because Sam's kind of slow with this. He's not like he doesn't love, taking supplements
He's
and
not a professional health junkie.
no, I mean I can take 52 pills in a sitting. It's like no problem. I just take them by the handful. Sam needs to take
Yeah.
them one at a time. So it becomes this like hour to get his protocol inside of him.
Yeah.
So
It's very funny. I was a little dramatic, but
he is.
it's
He is.
okay. The strongest men are always like very dramatic about this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you also ultimately, when he was ready, you took
Yeah.
him through a liver flush. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that and the myths and the truths. And this is where it's really important also that the people without a gallbladder are listening in, because
Yes.
this is really important for you too.
Yeah, so this applies to Sam who's trying to save his gallbladder as just as much as it applies to someone like Barb from our practice who was in her early 70s, hadn't had a gallbladder for 15 years, and had a ton of symptoms related to liver congestion that never resolved when her gallbladder was removed. So it's the same for both actually, and this is a huge point that I want to make in this interview. If it's only one thing you walk away with today is that the solutions that support somebody trying to save this organ and the solutions for somebody that have already lost this organ are actually the same. And they can both be achieved through natural health at home. So a liver flush is only as good as the preparation that you do
Say
before.
that again and write this down, everyone.
Yeah. A lot of other people in the back. A liver flush is only as good as the preparation that you make for it.
Okay. And that preparation isn't 2 days, right?
No, ma'am. That's about 30 days minimum. So we're adding in energy support. We're clearing out the bowels because for so many liver and gallbladder issue people have congestion in the bowels. Even if you're still moving you're having a bowel movement every day, you still can have compacted feces. 5 to 20 pounds of it on average is what Americans have in the lower intestine. Gross, right?
Mhm.
Fermenting, yucky, perfect habitat for parasites. They love this stuff, right? So it's just the truth. So you got to clear the exit pathway for the liver and gallbladder to release. And so you want to clear paths of the exit doors for all this toxic, sluggish stuff
Mhm.
that you're going to ask the body to move out. And because it's slow moving and because it's so irritating in nature, these toxic metabolites, whether they're heavy metals, industrial chemicals, plastics, pesticides, herbicides, phthalates, halogens, all of these get stuck. They drop those bile salts out of that perfectly suspended in liquid chemistry. They mess all that chemistry up, and that's when things start to slow down and congeal, and your liver starts throwing cholesterol at it and trying to wrap that around the problem to keep it safe. So, hence, we want to do some clearing of the bath first, right? You got to have your gut moving. You got to have the colon emptied out. That's where coffee enemas come in, and they're so fantastic. They're not a requirement, but they sure do help. And there's lots of formulas that you can customize your enemas to support your path.
And we'll just note right now that Sam would not do coffee enemas. He was like, no, I'm not doing that. And he had a very successful liver flush. So just want to put that out there. There's some
Yes.
things that the man is just not willing to do at this point.
Yeah, it's very true. That's what I mean. They are optional.
Yeah.
They will help, but you don't have to do them. And I know I'm a giant wuss. So everything I say is with a huge caveat. Like I went through this too. And if I'm this huge wuss and I can do it, I know everybody can do it. So there's that piece. And you also want to provide some actual destagnation tools to the body. So that means we need fresh bile salts in the mix. So it's
Mhm.
because bile is very expensive for the body to make. I know it's a gross sounding word, bile. Ugh. But what we're talking about is really a liquid gold detergent.
I
That's what
love
it
how you
is.
describe it. You describe bile like it is the quintessential fluid in the human body.
It's
Yeah.
magical. I don't even ever get the time to say talk about its anti-cancer properties, its super alkalizing, anti-aging. Like we want this stuff to be moving through, but it's expensive to make. So the body wants to reuse it and recycle it. And there's a really big problem with that because the synthetic, you know, materials, these chemicals that we didn't evolve with, and these heavy metals that were deep in the earth's crust that we didn't have to contend with as we evolved. Okay, those actually stick to the bile. So they don't dump out through the bowel the way the liver expects them to. The liver says, okay, I'm going to try to protect the kidneys. I'm going to detox the least amount possible through the kidneys because they're not as resilient.
Oh, they're
I'm
kind of
gonna,
wimpy.
they're a little wimp.
Little wimpy. Yeah.
It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah. It's
And
kind of like fancy cars, right? Like they're kind of like a Porsche, whereas your liver is your workhorse. It's a Toyota. Just saying. It's if you want the luxury version,
or
it's a
an
Lexus.
Acura.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just never going to break.
Yeah, but your gallbladder's like that wimpy Porsche. Yeah. Love them, but your kidneys are like the wimpy Porsche. Love them.
Very delicate. Yeah.
Every
100%. So your liver's trying to dump as much out as possible through the bile Through the bowels, because your small intestine, your large intestine, these turn over completely every 3 to 4 days. So the liver's like, they can handle it. Let's throw as much of these toxins out through this process, right? So its favorite way to detox is through the bowels. The problem is all these toxic metabolites actually stick to the bile, and you actually end up recycling. It's called enterohepatic recycling, right? So it's a retoxification process. So it's sticking to old bile salts that your liver tries to reuse. And it's like, gosh, this is really hard. Wow, I'm working way too hard here. I'm really stressed. I'm moving slow. So one of the things that we can do in preparing for a liver flush is to actually add fresh salts into the mix, fresh bile salts to be specific. That means TUDCA. That means taurine. That means phosphatidylcholine. These are really important building blocks of bile, and
Okay.
it's super helpful.
And it all needs to be done before you do your liver flush. This is all still in the
Yes.
prep phase. You're introducing this. And then there's some other things that need to be on board as well, because when you do this flush, toxins are going to be flushed out. So, how do you protect yourself from that?
Yeah, the old school style of flushing is just this is like Hulda Clark's version of this, and Andreas Moritz wrote this gorgeous book about it. And it's a lovely body of work, but we need to take a step forward from that because we're in a much more toxic day and age now. So I would never recommend that somebody just do that simplified version of things because it's harder on your body. You'll get less results. You have to do more of them, and you can get more side effect symptoms from them. So you want binders on board. You want to be preparing the pathway, preparing the body with binders and fresh bile salts for the whole month leading up to your first flush to say, okay, guess what, body? When you release this old bile, I'm here to catch you.
Mhm.
These binders are lining the gut. They're going into the extracellular matrix to help mop things up. It's going to be okay. You can let go now.
Okay. So, this is all prep. Anything else that needs to happen for prep? I think there's some emotional prep too.
Yeah, there is some emotional prep.
Yeah.
So the interesting thing about the liver and gallbladders, they really do hold a lot of stored emotion for us. It's almost like your body is going through life and you're meeting life's experiences, and whatever amount of energy you have to deal with those experiences, whatever amount of resources you have at any given age, whether you're 5 years old or 35, you do the best you can with that experience. And whatever your body's not able to digest out of that experience gets tucked away for later.
Mm.
I will be able to handle this when I'm older, when I'm wiser, when I have more energy, when I feel safe. So when you start the detox process, a deep release, I'm not talking about some shitty, gimmicky detox. I'm talking about real removal of impediments so the body can heal itself. Your body starts to let go of those old emotions.
Mhm.
And, as long as you know it's happening, it can be a very magical process, but there are some ups and downs to it. You can feel old irritation, old overwhelm, old fear, and yes, old anger, because
Yep.
that's what the liver's holding for you.
Yep. Okay. So now we've gotten through this and we're going to actually flush. We've gotten through the prep and we're going to flush. And again, this is really important for people who don't have a gallbladder as well, because your bile, that golden liquid that you described, is made in your liver.
Mhm.
So now we're going to flush. And now flushing, there's some myths around flushing, there's some truths around flushing. What would you share with our audience just to give them some pearls of information that they should absolutely be looking for in a flush?
So, I've already shared, I think it's a phenomenal tool for everybody. The Andreas Moritz version or the Hulda Clark version, like it really was a wonderful thing to contribute to our culture and very necessary in this time, but I don't think it goes far enough. And
Mhm.
so one myth that I would like to dispel is that that's enough, that process is enough as is, or that it's a standalone event, and nothing could be further from the truth. The prep leading up to a flush, which is really just a targeted, like a really intentional release from the body, right? We teach lymph flushes and fascia flushes and, but really the liver flush is like the life-changing liver gallbladder. The prep beforehand is what makes the flush actually work. So the biggest myth that I hear is like, "Oh, if I just do this piece, I'll just like drink the oil, drink the olive salts, drink the apple juice, and just boom, I'll be healed." And that is not true. We want to think about liver flushes in a series and be in the lead up and the recovery and prep in between is what makes the biggest difference. Another myth that I hear often about liver flushes is that you can't do them if you don't have a gallbladder. That's not true. You actually may need them more because if you had to remove your gallbladder because you got so acutely inflamed with the stones you had in there, dollars to donuts, sweetheart, you have a lot of stones in your liver as well.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about your experience. Let's bring it back to Sam in this case
Yeah.
study that we've been going through because you guided Sam through it. And not only
Yeah.
that, you actually saw him 2 days or a day after because we had a gathering at our house
Yeah.
with some of our friends, and you and Michael came over and you actually saw him in person right after he did it. So, what was your experience of him from before and after?
Well, honestly, beforehand, I saw him at your birthday. I was a little scared for him because he was so overloaded and he was so depleted. And he was like living on bone broth. It's like, okay, sweetheart, how stubborn do you want to be? You ready to do this? And he's like, yeah, I'm ready to do this.
He had to hit his rock bottom, right?
Everybody does. And,
Yeah.
we say this all the time. Oh, they just haven't suffered enough. I hadn't suffered enough. I went for years, like trying to push through and ignore this and, suppress the symptoms. I had to go through the same process. So I have tons of compassion for it. But the Sam on the other side of the flesh was the opposite. The Sam before was fragile. He was
Mhm.
so depleted in life force. I barely recognized him because he's such a strong man. And he's so funny and loving, and he's just like a big presence, and then on the other, but like, so he was like a husk of himself when I
Mhm.
saw him before, and when I saw him afterwards, he was lighter. It was like he took 10 years off. I mean, he was back to being hysterically funny. I mean, the man has a sharp wit. And he was checking on everybody. He was playing host and he was like gathering everybody. I was like, okay, that's the Sammy.
And he was showing everybody the huge amounts of stones that came out the next day. Hundreds and hundreds of stones.
He
Yeah.
was so proud.
Yes. And he was telling everybody, "You should do this. You should do this." I mean, he was literally telling it. These are a bunch of our functional medicine friends that, were over at our house, and some of them you're seeing on this summit. People, that are also speakers here were at my house, and he's like, "You should do this. You should do this liver flush."
Yeah.
Kevin Ellis, the bone coach, he's one of our people here. He's been pounding on your door to do a liver flush with you,
And
right?
now he's doing it. Yeah, because of
Yeah,
Sam.
yeah, yeah, good Sam. So this is why I'm sharing Sam's story because
Yeah.
what you do with people profoundly changes their lives, Sinclair. And as I mentioned, I know more about how to help people because of what I've learned from you and Michael. And I know you have something really cool, and I want you to share because you're going to be taking people through a liver
Yeah.
flush live.
Yeah.
Rapid liver reset is your thing.
Yeah.
So, any final pearls and words of wisdom, and bookend that with how people can get a hold of you, find you, work with you, get sprinkled fairy dust on by you.
Yeah. I'll wave my hair at you.
You guys, we were
Smash
talking
my
about
flowers.
before we started this interview that I'm loving her hair today. It's amazing.
You're gonna make me blush.
Everybody who
Um,
loves her hair, send me an email that you love her hair and I'll make sure she gets it. I'll make sure she gets your email.
Thank you, sweetie.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Okay.
So here's an the I'll kind of pull all this together in one way. One of the biggest myths I hear about liver flushes is something that we tackle head on in Rapid Liver Reset, and it's because of my own journey. So people think of liver flushes as something very harsh. And because it's a big event that you're going to tell the body to release. And a lot of people say, well, wait a minute, I have had so much congestion for so long. I feel too fragile to do that. What can I do? And I felt the same way when we were discovering these tools, and Michael dove head in, man, like he was getting out goose eggs. Like they're scary. You'll see them in my presentation. Like how did those come out of him? And it was done without pain, fatigue, irritation, but no pain because the liver was just like coughing him up, man. And there was 15 of those goose eggs in one flush for him. It was crazy. But for me, I had to chip away at it and go very slow because I felt very fragile at the time, very fatigued, very reactive. And I was scared, honestly. So we handle all of this by individualizing flushes for people. So in Rapid Liver Reset, we teach you 3 ways to flush. And we teach it to you in a series. So, yes, we're going to go through it live together, but also this is work that you're going to do for the next 6 to 12 months, depending on how compacted you are. And you get to take it at a pace that's right for you. And yes, you can have community support and all that along the way, but the the piece I want you to hear is that you get to take it at your own pace. So we have the gentle healing lane, which is pink. We say pink, handle with care. We had the yellow, slow and steady lane, and then we had the green means go lane. That's Michael's lane. I was the pink lane, and I worked my way up slowly over several months to the green means go lane. And over that time, I was doing these tiny no flush flushes and then pulse flushes that we teach in the course. And I got out 15,000 stones before I ever drank any olive oil.
I can't believe you counted all your stones.
I'm a Virgo. Of course I did. I was like 17, 18, 19. Okay, add it to the total. I mean,
4,000, 4,001, 4,002, 8,000, 8,006.
I mean, did we not tell Sam that these were going to be his trophies? And he was like, no, I'm not even going to look. And then he was showing him pictures everywhere.
We were fishing him out of the toilet. I'm like, we're counting. use a strainer. Yeah.
Because they're like your trophies. They show you, that's like proof. That's why I wasn't feeling well. And now there's a new chance for me. And that's true for you, whether or not you have a gallbladder right now, by the way.
Yeah.
So I hope you take heart from that and you get to take it at a pace that's right for you.
How do people get it? Where do they go?
We're going to do it live in July. So I think the cart opens like July 10th or July 15th. So come hang out with us. You could come get on the wait list at detoxrejuvenation.com and we'll take really good care of you.
And she will take good care of you. She takes great care of my family too. Thank you so much, Sinclair. I so appreciate you. And I just want to acknowledge you and Michael both. I know Michael is always in the background. You hardly ever see him. He's like the elusive, never seen rare bird. I want to acknowledge the work that you do and that you put yourself out there in the world to help people, because truly we are being poisoned and you have the solution to poison. And when people have the solution to poison, there are forces that don't want that information to get out there, and people are shut down and quieted. And so it is very brave and courageous for you to be out here admittedly solving the problems and helping people. And I will say everyone on this summit, these practitioners that you're seeing, there is a level of bravery and courage here because we are not supporting big pharma and there's a lot of money behind that. And so thank you for what you're doing.
A lot of pressure on us to silence. Thank you for saying that.
So thank you for being part of the solution, no matter what it takes.
Back at you, sweetheart.
And I love you.
I love you too.
All right. Until next time, everyone, take good care. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Dr. Talks. We hope today's episode has enlightened and inspired you on your path to optimal health. Each day is a new opportunity to make choices that empower your well-being. For more insights and strategies, subscribe to our podcast and visit our website, www.drtalks.com. Stay connected, stay healthy, and join us next time on Dr. Talks. Real talks from real doctors on the issues that matter to you most.